There's the handshake. Let's go. On the Dragon side, we have a Keeper Initiate, 2 Imperial Storehouses, and an Imperial Palace. That is not what you want to see on the first flip, especially against Scorpion.
I actually, because this isn't Kyuden Bayushi, this can work.
Do you think he hard buys the Initiate here, or just passes for the Fate?
Passes for the Fate. Oh.
I think James disagrees. He's going to hard buy this Keeper Initiate.
It is a monk,
Fate.
so it can Hurricane Punch and Void Fist.
That's true. Going over to Palumbo's side, looks like that's an Ignoble Enforcers, a Seppen Truthseeker, a Mia Mystic, and an Imperial Storehouse.
So that's really interesting because with this, you're almost guaranteed the favor, which is what the Scorpion player would hate to see because Dragon notoriously run 2 Censure. So being able to almost guarantee the favor on turn 1.
Do you think is James running any Defend Your Honors? He is on Keeper.
It's very possible. I didn't remember looking for that. I was looking for the possibility of Peasant's Advice when I went over and talked to him, and he's not running that because I was curious about Hidden Moon Dojo.
Gotcha. We see the Seppen Truthseeker come out.
Then he passes for the Passing Fate.
And going to bids. So we have a Seppen Truthseeker versus Keeper Initiate. 5 versus 5? Wow.
Well, it is a City of the Open Hand, so this is definitely not the Matt Fry build. That's how you can determine the one bid Scorpion deck. Did they bid 1 on turn 1? So we are definitely in a more traditional style deck. So we're probably going to see a 5, a 3, and a 1, a declinational honor bid, or we're probably going to go ahead and just go 5-1-1 from there.
Yeah.
But
I think Steve might have been concerned since James did have 2 Imperial Storehouses out. That is a huge lead on cards. Going up 6 cards to 6 cards up, that's a difficult hump to overcome.
Well, that would be 7.
No, it would be 7.
It would be a difference of 6. So you are right.
Difference of 6.
Yeah. Though he did have the storehouse himself, so that did help out some. So we had a 7 draw versus a 6 draw. So
let's see. Meek Informant hits the board. We're going to get to take a look at the hand. Let's see. We did see a Void Fist. There's a Tattooed Wanderer, Finger Jade, Reprieve, 2 Fight-Ons. And was that a Mirror Modus Fury?
I'm pretty sure he's on Void Fist.
Oh, you're correct. Mirror Modus Fury is the restricted card, or is restricted.
Much to
Void
my
Fist
lament.
is the restricted card.
I miss Mirror Modus Fury and Policy Debate being there in my deck simultaneously.
All right, Steve's gonna go in. Looks like James passed his first attack. Gonna go in Political Earth with the Meek Informant. And some Meditations, which of course is blank right now. The Meek Informant has 0 fade on it. James defends with the Keeper Initiate.
It is important to note that there was that Tattooed Wanderer we can see right there, so he does have the ability to do a Drop Bear for Poke. He could Drop Bear Poke Water to get the Initiate back up and then come in for another attack, or I have a secondary Defender. Just all depends.
They both pass. Steve takes the Earth Ring, evening up the card differential. Cloud the Mind, go into the discard pile.
I'm actually not too tore up about that in this situation. Scorpion a lot of the times will buy their guys with little or no fate. So Cloud doesn't have the weight it does when you have someone buying and putting 4 or 5 fate on a unit. There was a lot better cards he could have hit in that hand, like the Reprieve or the Finger of Jades, I think. So I think you're okay with that if you're the Dragon player.
Yeah. Steve comes in for his second attack here. Military Fire, back at Meditations. And James is sitting on a bunch of fate, but he declines to play a conflict character. And Steve takes the ring.
Well, I think he was waiting to force the break issue. He wanted the guy to play resources. Because with the Imperial Imperial Palace there, none of that did amounted to anything really in the grand scheme of things.
Although he did force him down some honor. Seppen Truthseeker fires as he leaves.
We have a total of, what, 8 honor now on the Dragon player, so we have to be very careful.
That is correct. Versus 10 on the Scorpion.
Because a bid of 5-1 could be very dangerous for the Dragon player. So the Dragon player, if I were playing in this situation, I would probably be on a 3 just to be safe. If he wants to replicate a 5, that gets you back up to 10, and then you're good for the following turn. Mm-hmm. You already were up 1 card, so you're really only down 1 card in that situation. All right. And then if he does want to bid 1, you know where you're going from there. You maintain a card advantage, and then you can just go 1-1s from then on.
All right, we got the flips coming up here. Looks like that's a favored Nice and a Bayushi Manipulator, as well as the Mia Mystic and the Enforcers. And we got a Mendicant, another Keeper Initiate, a Yokuni, and the Imperial Palace, of course. Yokuni hits the board. Palumbo buying the Mia Mystic.
Now this is something that we can discern from Palumbo's deck using logic here. The fact that he's willing to buy Yokuni for 5 and throw 4 on it tells me that since he's seen his deck list, we knew he was Phoenix, but he's probably not running against the waves. Because that would be playing into a readily available and useful card for Scorpion.
Yeah.
So that probably means Palumbo is not on that.
I imagine if I had to guess his splash, it's probably 3 Display of Powers and some Seeker Initiates and a All or Nothing. A couple All or Nothings, maybe. Maybe 2 Display of Powers to save a little bit on influence.
Maybe. I think if you're going to go display and you're trying to be sneaky Scorpion, you just go all in on 3.
Yeah. All right, going to the bids. Card. We have a Mia Mystic versus Togashi Yokuni here.
He's thinking about this bid. I did not see.
I heard a 3, and it looks like maybe a 1 bid from Dragon. 1 bid.
He was banking on the 5-1 and decided to meet him on it.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you can do that and gain the 2 here, you're pretty good going forward into the next turn. He can 5 bid on 1 at 10, and you're still well within range of being where you want to be.
I think it's important to note here that Steve has revealed a safe province to attack. He's not in danger of hitting a Restoration or Upholding Authority here. And with his library of cards, that's not an insignificant factor.
I am also banking Steve is on a Kachiko.
I imagine so. He did bank a lot of Fate. He could have it. There is an Assassinate, not super relevant. I did see a Display of Power there. I didn't see a Kachiko. He might have it still, though. James looking at his cards. If Steve passed, he's probably just planning on passing Conflict here. All right, Steve going in for a Void Ring at Meditations. He did choose to attack here. James going to defend with Yokuni. Throws a Finger of Jade onto Yokuni.
Now that's interesting because I'm not sure if he's trying to bait the Mystic or not. He did have 2. We saw it in his hand, so bait the Mystic and then throw the other down.
Could be a possibility. Steve throwing a lot of Fade away there. He does play the Kachiko. So Yokuni is in danger of being sent home and bowed here. Of course, the Finger of Jade is still on him, but the Mia Mystic is on the board to drop that. I imagine he also has something in hand that he could use to...
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've seen a Kachiko. Is it equal to or lower, or is it lower?
I believe it is equal to or lower. Let's take a look at that.
Lower only.
Lower only. Okay.
That's a lot easier for Yokuni. I mean, 108 fan puts you out of range immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 not so hard, and multiple ways to get +2/+2 or 2 for dragon. So
yeah, I mean,
God forbid he honors it, but I mean that's still a hard proposition keeping an honored Yukuni against a Scorpion Dishonor deck.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons in the name of the title of the deck.
Mm-hmm. Now, it should be noted, Steve is still winning the conflict here. James goes ahead and bows the Stronghold. Court Games coming out to honor Kachiko. Defend Your Honor coming out with Yokuni. Steve only has a 3-strength military character here. He could, if he's got a read on James, if he thinks James is going to bid up to guarantee the Defend Your Honor, he could bid down. Just depends on the reads. I think we have a 1 versus 1 there. So the Court Games is just straight up canceled. And it is now James's action. Meditations hitting Kachiko. For shame, hitting Yokuni. He goes ahead and bows him. Doesn't trigger the finger, doesn't take the dishonor.
I mean, with 4 Fate on it, your Yukuni has more than enough time to enjoy himself.
Fight on to stand him back up.
There is an assassination I just saw there.
You think he could assassinate the Mia Mystic?
No, in Palumbo's hand.
Ah, I see.
But again, assassinates very rarely work on that. But if he's going to try to use Tattooed Wanderer for something, that could be a nice counter for that. But at the same time, Palumbo is actually on the losing side of honor. He's only 8, so that assassination looks kind of dangerous when you're going down to 5.
Yeah. Looks like we just have passes. Steve does take the ring.
I mean, with the Imperial Palace, as long as the rings aren't doing much to game state, you can kind of be okay with it all day long.
Oh, he did trigger an all or nothing there. He's going to take the Earth Ring. Oh, and he hits a Void Fist.
Ouch. Now, again, hitting a Void Fist, not as bad because Dragon do run Mitsu, so if he can connect to a Mitsu, that Void Fist can at least get a use in this game for his ability to take cards that are Kiho, Tattoo, or Monk from the discard pile and play them.
Such a good card. Passing through. Looks like that Mia Mystic is going to come back in for another attack. Oh, did he use Kachiko to send that Mia Mystic home? How did he get that Mia Mystic home?
I think he played Kachiko and then just attacked with her. Like played it in the pre-conflict window.
Okay. And we see another fight on. That we did see that in the hand with the Meek Informant.
But he did see that, and I think he's expertly...
No, he's going to steal the Finger of Jade now.
I feel that's kind of bad. Well, he knew about the 2 fight-ons. I mean, 2 Finger of Jade. So he's doing the one, play the... He's almost saying, play the other, I'll sack the unit and get rid of both.
Yeah. He does. He plays the Finger of Jade. Then, Palumbo just drops the Mia Mystic.
I still think that this is a correct play, as weird as it is, because at the end of the day, he got 2 attachment hates on Finger of Jades, which is where you want them to be. And by doing it the way he did, the other player, Palumbo, doesn't have the Finger of Jades to use in future battles either. Those are off the board. So he calling in favored and didn't even get the benefit of the calling in favored Finger of Jade.
Yeah. James plays a Court
ouch.
Games and then immediately gets Mark of Shamed. I don't know. Do you think Court Games was a bit greedy there? Or do you think he was trying to bait out that Mark of Shame?
I think baiting it out. Again, there's 4 turns.
Oh, no. Oh,
Now,
no.
that
There's an I Can Swim. Goes down to 0 fate. Doesn't have any characters to duel for Defend Your Honor.
could be game right there.
It looks like Palumbo actually picked it back up.
Oh, Dials.
Oh, Dials. He is, yeah.
Wait, you have to be the higher bid, and it was a 3-1, so the bidding it works.
Defend Your Honor. They are now both 1 bids.
You're right. So he was thinking where I was, and then you were in the point of reality of remembering the Defend Your Honor 1-1.
Yeah.
And this really is bad for Palumbo because that's knowledge that GGoing has going forward here. He can play around it because he knows it's been drawn. That's really painful.
Yeah.
Being
Looks like the players are just resolving this now. We do have a judge standing over the table.
So then, to prevent like him from going dishonor, if you bait worse than death me, I just court games my guy, and then he played Marcus Shane to dishonor, and then that's when he couldn't do the biz. So all I'm saying is, he can bring the Mystic back out with the Finger of Jade, and I still have this Finger of Jade and start from there, and I have my court games in hand. And
okay. Still waiting on the resolution of talking to the judge about what happened.
It looks like they're just gonna walk it back.
That was super nice of GGoing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have a really great community, so this isn't me saying he should have been that guy.
Yeah.
Please don't take me that way, viewers or listeners, but you know, it is the top 4. We have seen more times often than not that someone's like, sorry, you've gone this many actions in. It's a missed opportunity.
They walk this back very far. He is gonna actually, are gonna do the Mia Mystic play. Maybe James doesn't play the court games now, or if they're gonna walk it through up to that point. No, they're just gonna take it from where it is now. And he is gonna take the water ring, gets the keeper initiates, and let's see if he remembers to get his keeper fate here.
Well, he was no, he was defending. You're right.
He was defending. Yeah.
Sorry, with the walk back, my brain took a little time to catch up.
Steve bows the stronghold.
And I want to say one more time, this is why I love L5R. Many other card games, that would have just been a no right there, but the fact that we have players that are willing to do that for each other and enjoy the game and not just win on technicalities.
And in a semifinals match, too.
Yeah, that is really a good show, good sportsmanship from both of them.
Yeah.
Rolling the die for Rando so he doesn't feel bad.
No, it hits the
It's
secret
his cash anyway, but he doesn't feel bad because he rolled the dice, so
that's true.
That's a nice mental trick.
He does have another attack going in here. Or this is the last attack, I believe.
Yeah, because he's had 2 defenses, so one had to pass through there.
Yeah. Going Earth Ring, hits the secret cache. Steve looking at his top 5 cards here. Picks 1. Secret cache, such a good province, taking the best of your top 5 cards and putting it in your hand.
He was showing him the fate that he had because Palumbo was asking, how much fate do you have? And he's showing him the 1 and mentioning the Keeper of Water roll card there.
So he does take the Keeper fate, yeah.
Which is good. You want to make sure you got those triggers if you're going to play it.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than missing triggers in this game.
I think secret triggers are a bit more common, a bit more important, but that extra value you get on Keeper, just getting that extra fate, easily forgettable. Does win, takes the Earth Ring, and Display of Power.
That's how many Display of Powers now? Another Void Fist.
That is 2 Display of Powers, and another Void Fist goes into the discard pile.
We really need to see a Mitsu here. He's going to pitch the Mendicant, so he does have 3 slots to draw the Mitsu. Mitsu here with Covert to get around Kachiko. coupled with the Yukuni being able to copy Mitsu's ability so both of them could recurse, I think would be pretty well the best you could expect on the following turn for Dragon to draw.
For sure.
Now, he does have the favor, and I can't remember if he's the kind that runs Sumiko. That could also be huge if he is running Sumiko, because favor Sumiko is another really great play from Dragon.
And he is going first this turn, so he would be able to get 3 conflicts in with that Sumiko. 2 attacks and then the final defense.
And with 2 display of powers, a really strong turn 1 water ring is just like huge. I know he's already got his keepers out, but if you can just bow the Kachiko since he's not on Kyuden Bayushi, that's just an extreme advantage.
That would be huge. All right, going for flips. On the Dragon side, we see a Doom Shugenja, a Mia Mystic, and a Togashi Mendicant.
That is really bad. All the low drops.
Really weak flip. We got over on Palumbo's side, we have a Bayushi Manipulator. He plays the Liar, a favored niece, and I'm not sure what that last one is. It's a Magistrate, maybe?
So he's going to buy the Doom Shugenja and the Mendicant. He's hoping to look at the top 3 cards at the end phase, find the Mitsu, find whatever unit he really needs there.
He still has a pretty strong board state with that Yokuni. He could definitely get some breaks in this turn, or just stay ahead. 1-to-1 on bids.
I don't know if I bid 1. Okay, it was 3.
No, 1 to 3. Okay.
Because he knows he has I Can Swim. You can't bid 1 there, because even if he bids 2, he's got both the Mark of Shame and the I Can Swim. And that has to be noted at this point. It's a shame, though. Besides Kachiko, Yukuni just doesn't really have anything to connect with on board state.
I mean, Kachiko's not a bad copy, especially if you can pump up the Yukuni even with just the Stronghold and send any of Steve's characters home.
Speaking of the Mark of Shames, another good pick, now that I think on it, would also be finding the Master Alchemist to be able to counter. Because you could Mark a Shame, then you could drop to neutral to dodge the I Can Swim.
Certainly a second choice over Mitsu.
Plus, Yukuni could copy the Master Alchemist and just go back to Honored.
Yeah. We're going to see Keeper Initiate come here on the air ring. It's Rebels. And Yokuni bows. That's very unfortunate. And he's already played 2 fight-ons, only 1 more left in the deck. Steve's going to defend with the Liar, it appears. Now the shoe's on the other foot. Keeper of Air. Steve takes this. He gets another Fate. Already sitting on a pile. Pass. Steve takes the ring. No Keeper Initiates, though. Does take the Keeper Fate. Steve coming in for his conflict here. Gonna go with the Kachiko.
Might as well go back into the meditations. She's been stripped down, so.
Yeah. Do you go military? No, you gotta go political.
Well, her ability only works in political, so yeah, you have to, or you're just disregarding a powerful ability at that.
That does mean he has to go somewhere else if he breaks this province. But looks like James is gonna defend. And he's got the Doom Shugenja and the Keeper Initiate.
And the favor as well.
Do you think that's the right play, or do you think, well, the fire ring is a thing, but I don't know, maybe you just let him break this meditations, force him to go somewhere else?
I'm thinking he's worried about the I Can Swim, and he doesn't want Yukuni getting dishonored easily.
No, he doesn't have a Finger of Jade anymore either.
Yeah. We see the all or nothing now, and that
although we did see 2 reprieves in hand.
That was the reason the game kind of progressed and we went on that backtrack, but that was the reason I was saying it was a really smart play too. Getting rid of using 2 action removals on 2 Finger Jades means the 2 reprieves can connect theoretically.
Yeah. Well, and also can have him. You can drop the reprieve to block the I Can Swim.
That is correct.
So Steve just passes, as does
Stacking
James.
for 0.
Stacking. That's a mendicant. He's got. Oh, it is a dishonored mendicant. Dishonored with the fire ring. That's an interesting choice. Although it is leaving, strips 1 honor away from him at the end of the turn.
And remember, the assassination is in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if he does pump it, it
James-
can counteract.
James is going to another province. Hits pilgrimage.
I mean, I
don't
think this
know.
is smart right now. With the kind of the way the board state's going on him with this terrible turn, it's better to ferret out your
No,
best
they're-
options going forward.
Yeah, there is the assassinate. Mendicant drops.
I mean, but
I believe he does have at least one Tattooed Wanderer in hand that we saw earlier.
no. I agree. I remember that. I'm just curious why the assassinate. If the guy's going to go away and you're going to lose an honor anyway, and it is a pilgrimage, so unless he like breaks, the ring effect will do no good. And it's not like with the Imperial Palace still in play, it's not like that's what's going to determine the favor. Am
Yeah.
I? Well,
Goblin Sneak hits the board.
huh.
Steals 1 fate. James is, of course, sitting on a pile. I think it's just more important that Steve gets a second attack in here. And is going to be undefended as well.
He is down to 5 honor, but both players are at that.
Mm-hmm. Going at Void. Looking at what's under the palace.
Vassal Fields.
James Vassal Fields, no
I
defenders.
keep going on back and forth on between Vassal Fields and Upholding Authority, but so many players play with these stacked fate turns that Vassal Field just feels bad half the time. I'd rather see them play a Shinjo Ambusher and it get a feels bad on an Upholding Authority than to know I can strip a fate away every turn with Vassal Fields and it does nothing.
Tattooed Wanderer hits the field. Steve throws away some fate, and fate worse than death's the Tattooed Wanderer.
We now have the RL card.
Mm-hmm.
But I also predicted that because the way he was playing earlier with
sure.
the...
Another Tattooed Wanderer comes in on the board. Steve with a grunt of disagreement.
No, wait. He played a fate worse than death. Why does he still have 4 fate?
He was sitting on 8 fate.
Oh, was he?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a pile. And there's the passes. James takes the ring.
I don't know why fight for a ring you don't get the effect on though.
I mean, Steve may have an all or nothing in hand. You want to block him from maybe getting an air ring or maybe another any of the rings other than the void.
So you go down to 4. You still got a bid 2.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel great that Yokuni could get Mark of
Kachiko is
Shames.
off board. His fate is lower, and with GGoing having higher fate and a Yukuni still present.
Mhm.
Favor still present. There is no breaks, and he sees 3. So he knows where the Revels is, so he can attack with his big guy first now.
Mhm.
And like you attack with the Yukuni, and then you go into Midnight Revels with your lower guys. It's like, okay, whatever, my guy's already bowed. So that gives him Pilgrimage and Midnight Revel breaks rather easily passed. He can avoid the the secret cache, because he can pretty much know what's probably on the other one, which is either Upholding Authority or Vassal Field.
Mhm.
So it kind of gives him his path forward now. He's scouted out well. Ooh, wait, no, that's a City of Lies, or...
I believe that is a City of Lies on the
Okay.
Scorpion side. Favored niece, keeping it from the last turn. A Bayushi Manipulator and a Blackmail Artist.
He's just going to buy it with...
Just buying the Bayushi Manipulator. This could allow him to get up on the dial.
Swordsmith, help him gain some hand advantage again.
Mm-hmm. This is
He does have the 2 reprieves, so that's why the Swordsmith got the 2 fate. If he did
Mhm.
not have that, seeing the assassinate, that would have been a very questionable play.
Sure. Now this is kind of another anemic flip from the Dragon side. We had a Nagasha Swordsmith another Keeper Initiate. That does make 3 Keeper Initiates now, and a Togashi Initiate. Of course, Agasha Swordsmith is a fantastic 2-drop, but I think you really wanted to see Mitsu here. You're sitting on a pile of Fate, and you could buy him with a ton, and he'd be around all game.
Yeah. That being said, 6 low drops like that, theoretically, the next turn is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
You can only keep drawing your low in for so long before you run out.
Steve just passes. James buys the Togashi Initiate.
I wonder if he's planning to hard cast Kachiko again and drop a bunch of Fate on her.
It's a possibility. It is 1-1. He elects not to use the Manipulator.
I kind of would there, but maybe he's worried he can't get around it.
I mean, we do know that James has reprieves in hand. Nah, Steve is just mentioning now that he just forgot. That is an unfortunate mistake. Although he doesn't know that James does have the reprieves to block it. That was the Swordsmith draw, hitting a Cloud the Mind.
Looks like he's got 2 court games in hand right now, too.
Steve going in for his attack. Military Earth at the Meditations.
I wonder if he's drawn a Censure yet. Can't see well. Censure here on water would be huge. Probably if Palumbo's got the 3rd display, that could just be a huge interaction. Because now that we know if Fate Worse Than Death is in play, that means he does not have 4 GDICs for counterbalance there. Though Defend Your Honor could work as well. Just depends on the defense position at that point.
Do you think he just holds the Censor for a potential of Fate Worse Than Death?
I would, but at the same time, if you're water and he's trying to display a power, that's also opportunity, because that's the difference of 3 Keeper Initiates.
Sure. All right. Swordsmith going in for the defense, 1-1. Favor is on political, so it is not applying here.
Does the City of Lies convey any kind of province bonus?
It does not. It is a +0, I believe.
I feel like Yakuni and Pilgrimage is going to be what we see there. We see the reprieve go on the Swordsmith as soon as possible.
Yeah, blocking any assassinate.
Well, no, he's on defense. He had the first action. So. Yep. I would say otherwise you want to play it before an action could happen in case there is an assassinate.
Steve moving some Fate off the board, looking to play something here. Maybe a Mark of Shame. There's a Mark of Shame on the Initiate.
He is at 4. He's just trying to ping it down as much as he can. Because he hasn't used his Stronghold yet, so technically he's at a 3 if he wants him to be.
Well, but he is up on Honor. So, Scorpion Stronghold not turned on. He has 5 Honor to James's 4.
You have to have higher honor to use City of Lies now, too?
No, you have to have lower honor.
Or lower honor? Oh.
Steve, you've always had to have lower honor.
Oh, okay.
So Steve is on 5 honor. Mountains Anvil Castle bows to give +1 to the Swordsmith.
City of Lies experience I've had recently. I've completely forgotten that.
It did feel in the previous incarnation that it was always on, despite being a steal, being a 2 honor swing instead of just a 1. Scorpion somehow still manages to use a bunch of dirty tricks to get back low on honor. We got a pass. Mountains Anvil Castle saving the ring for James. triggering his Swordsmith.
Well, he used the Swordsmith already. He got the Cloud the Mind, so this is probably a Kuni trigger.
Yes.
Copying the Swordsmith and then triggering the ability. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that, though. I feel like the Togashi Initiate might be the stronger.
Well, but there's a shameful display, or a Mark of Shame. If you honor Yokuni, he just plays Mark of Shame to bring him back down.
He played the Mark of
Dishonored.
Shame that we know about on Initiate.
And that's true.
I mean,
Haruma Skirmisher
theoretically,
comes
he
down.
should have another one, but the one we know about has been played.
Haruma Skirmisher comes down, gives Covert, goes in for the Water Ring, coverting out the Manipulator.
Finds the upholding authority that we expected was there.
That's a pretty good hit for James, actually, right now. It's probably the least impactful province to hit with a one-strength guy.
Probably also means we have an entrenched position sitting under the stronghold. No, wait.
No,
that's Earth. So
that is Earth.
We have air, earth, water. So fire is under.
What could the fire province be under the stronghold?
Meditations on the Tau?
Potentially.
Illustrious Forge, but I don't see. Well, it would let you pull. No, but you had to put it on your guys, so that would be terrible. No. Super spicy tech. He's running restoration of balance to bring it back to the Scorpion. That's jokes, people. He can't do that.
James claims the ring, bows the Manipulator with the ring, and then gets 3 Keeper Initiates.
That
Favor
seems
is
pretty
on
good
lock.
to me.
He still does have another attack here, too. He could go in and break probably Pilgrimage.
So he knows all 4. At this point, how he goes about it is completely up to him. I do respect his cautious play here. He's getting a really lax hand, so he's not overextending. He's letting it flow naturally and not trying to do too much. Because now with this kind of board state going into the following turn, with his board state clearing and there being 3 initiates, a favor, a Yokuni, a swordsmith, and a dishonored initiate. So he's sending in all the lobies and letting Yokuni get bowed.
We do have confirmation that is actually abandoning honor under the stronghold. So if he goes in, only has 1 honor left, abandoning honor can kill a dishonored character, and then that
but it has
trigger.
to break.
It triggers before it breaks because it is an interrupt.
Clever. I think it's maybe clever that it's under Stronghold too, because you're used to seeing it on row with Scorpion, so maybe he's trying to create a lax, like, see if he can convince the GGoing to kind of lower his guard.
Plays a let go on the Mark of Shame, and he's honored the Togashi Initiate using its ability. He did go at Midnight Revels, and there is a display of power to dishonor the Haruma Skirmisher. That is the 3rd display of power. And that is another incidental honor loss. And City of the Open Hand hasn't been played yet this round either. That's going to be another honor loss. James is going to go down to 2 here.
But we do finally have a break that is huge. As he can manage to score 2 breaks on the following turn, and then have 2 stronghold attacks on the Scorpion the following turn after that, I think that could be a good path for the Dragon to be able to close this game. Of course, this is all hyper conditional on actually seeing anything other than a 1 and 2 drop from the Dragon player, who has been bogged down.
No, there's the backhanded compliments to close out the game.
There it is.
Unless James has some way of countering those.
No censure. He'd just have played a censure if he had it. It wouldn't have even been a question.
He does have to play them one at a time because James could draw into an answer. And there it is. There's the handshake. Great game. Dishonoring out the Dragon player on Steve Palumbo's side. Give me 1 second. We're
I'm
going
get
to
him flip
refresh
the
the
cards
standings.
just so we can see